I drove my drunk boss home at 2 a.m. His wife looked me up and down and said, "You're not what I expected." I never thought a single night would split my life into a before and after. But that's exactly what happened the night I drove Marcus Hale home in the pouring rain at 2 a.m. in a city that never sleeps, and came face to face with the woman who changed everything I thought I knew about loyalty, success, and what it really means to be seen. Let me back up. The promotion that wasn't mine. I'd been working at Hale and Donovan Financial Group for 3 years. 3 years of arriving before anyone else, staying after everyone left, and doing the kind of work that makes other people look brilliant. I was the assistant who made Marcus Hale, senior partner, corner office, name on the building, look like a genius every single quarter. Did I get credit? Occasionally. Did I get promoted? No. That honor went to Derek Shaw. Yale degree, great hair, mediocre ideas. But Derek played golf with the right people and laughed at the right jokes, and in corporate America that counts for more than anyone wants to admit. I was 27 years old, living in a studio apartment in Chicago's West Loop, eating ramen 3 nights a week, and telling myself it was temporary. It had to be temporary. The night of the client dinner, the firm held its annual client appreciation dinner every November at the Langham Hotel, black tie, open bar. The kind of event where deals are made over dessert and careers are built on handshakes. I wasn't invited as a guest. I was there to manage logistics, seating arrangements, AV equipment, making sure the right people met the right people at the right moment. Invisible work, essential work. The kind no one talks about. By midnight, most of the clients had filtered out. The partners were deep into their 3rd round of scotch, and Marcus Hale, usually composed, always in control, was visibly struggling to stand straight. His driver had called in sick. His usual car service wasn't answering. His wife had texted 3 times with no response. I watched his personal assistant, Gwen, quietly panic in the corner. "I'll take him," I said. Gwen looked at me like I'd offered to defuse a bomb. "Are you sure? He's not easy when he's like this. I'll manage." The drive getting Marcus into my 2019 Honda Civic was an experience I will never fully recover from. He was 6 feet 2 inches, wearing a $4,000 suit, and he had absolutely no idea what was happening. "Who are you?" he asked as I buckled his seatbelt. "Natalie, I work for you." He squinted. "Natalie? Natalie from research? Natalie from literally every department because I do everyone's job." He laughed, a real laugh, not the polished boardroom kind. Something genuine cracked through the expensive exterior. "You're funny," he said. Then he closed his eyes and didn't say another word for 40 minutes. I drove through the rain following the GPS to a neighborhood in Lincoln Park where the houses had 3-car garages and landscaping that cost more than my annual salary. The whole way I thought about how strange life was, how I spent my days building someone else's empire and had nothing to show for it. We pulled up to a beautiful brownstone at 2:07 a.m. I helped Marcus to the front door, half supporting his weight, my heels sinking into the wet stone path. The door opened before I could ring the bell. The wife, her name, I would later learn, was Claire Hale. She stood in the doorway in a silk robe, hair pulled back, reading glasses still on, like she'd been awake, waiting, working. She was in her early 50s, elegant in the way that only comes from decades of quiet confidence, not from trying. She looked at her husband first, a long, tired look that held an entire marriage in it. Then she looked at me, up and down, not cruelly, carefully, the way someone looks at a painting they're trying to understand. "You're not what I expected," she said. I didn't know what to say. I opened my mouth, closed it, and managed, "I just wanted to make sure he got home safe." She stepped aside. "Come in, please." Inside the brownstone, I helped Marcus to the sitting room couch. Claire said the stairs weren't happening, and covered him with a throw blanket while she made tea in the kitchen. I should have left. Every logical instinct told me to go. I stayed. Claire brought out 2 mugs and sat across from me at the kitchen island, studying me with the same careful attention she'd shown at the door. "How long have you worked for Marcus?" she asked. 3 years. "And your title?" "Senior Research Coordinator." I said it the way you say something that doesn't fit anymore, like wearing someone else's shoes. She nodded slowly. "You're the one who restructured the Callaway portfolio analysis last spring, the report that saved the Meridian account." I stared at her. That was credited to the research team. Marcus told me who actually wrote it. She wrapped her hands around her mug. He tells me more than people assume. There was a silence that felt significant. Why are you still there? She asked. At that firm? The question hit differently at 2 a.m. in a stranger's kitchen in wet heels after 3 years of invisible labor. Because I keep thinking if I work hard enough, it'll be recognized, I said. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Keep your head down, do excellent work, and eventually... Eventually what? Claire asked. Not unkindly. Directly. I didn't have an answer. What she said that changed everything. Claire set down her mug. She looked at me the way my mother used to look at me when she was about to say something I needed to hear but didn't want to. I built a company before Marcus built his, she said. Did you know that? I didn't. Interior architecture firm. Started it at 24 with $800 and a drafting table in my apartment. Grew it to 40 employees over 8 years. She paused. And then I spent 2 years waiting for the right people to notice how hard I was working. Waiting to be discovered, essentially, like a movie star. What happened? Nothing, she said. Nothing happened. Because opportunity doesn't come find you in a room where no one knows you're looking for it. You have to walk into a different room entirely. She slid a business card across the counter, cream-colored, embossed lettering. It read, Clara Hale, Hale Development Group. We acquire and redevelop commercial properties. We've been looking for someone to lead our market analysis division for 4 months. Every candidate Marcus's team sends me is technically qualified and completely uninspiring. She met my eyes. You saved my husband from sleeping in a hotel lobby tonight because it was the right thing to do. You drove 40 minutes in the rain in heels, and you didn't ask for anything in return. That tells me more about your character than any resume. My heart was doing something complicated. I'm not sure I'm qualified for... You restructured a failing portfolio analysis that saved a $40 million account, she said. You're qualified. The decision I drove home at 3 a.m. with a business card on my passenger seat and a feeling in my chest I hadn't felt in years. Hope. Real hope. Not the desperate, white-knuckled kind I'd been performing for 3 years. Something grounded. Something that felt like a door had opened instead of a window cracking. I sat in my parking garage for 20 minutes just breathing. 3 years. 3 years of arriving early, staying late, making other people's ideas shine, eating lunch at my desk, skipping vacations, missing my best friend's birthday dinner because of a critical deadline that turned out to be Derek Shaw's deadline, not even mine. I thought about what Claire had said, you have to walk into a different room entirely. I thought about what I'd been waiting for. Some authority figure to tap me on the shoulder and say, we see you, Natalie. We know how hard you've worked. Here is your reward. That tap was never coming. It hadn't come in 3 years. It wasn't going to come in year 4 or 5 either. The only person who was ever going to walk me into the right room was me. 2 weeks later, I gave my notice on a Tuesday morning. Marcus was sober, composed, back to his corner office self. He took it better than I expected. Claire told me about the conversation, he said, leaning back in his chair. She has good instincts. For a moment. You're wasted here, Natalie. I should have said that 18 months ago. A beat. I'm saying it now. It wasn't an apology, but it was something. Where I am now, 14 months later, I lead the market analysis division at Hale Development Group. My team is 7 people. My work has a name on it. I have a salary that means I can order something other than the cheapest thing on the menu. But more than any of that, I walk into work every morning, and I know exactly why I'm there. I know what I'm building. I know my name is on it. Claire checks in every Friday afternoon. We've become something that doesn't have a perfect word. Part mentor, part colleague, entirely real. She framed something for my office when I started. A small print, white background, black letters. The right room won't find you. Walk through the door. What I want you to take from this, I'm not telling you this story because it has a perfect ending. I'm telling you because for 3 years I was brilliant and invisible, and I kept believing that brilliance alone would eventually make me visible. It won't. Not in most rooms. Your work matters. Your integrity matters. Showing up in the rain at 2 a.m. when it's not your job. That matters. But none of it matters if you're spending it in a room where the people in power have already decided who the story is about. Sometimes the most important thing you can do for your career, for your life, is decide that you deserve a different room. You don't wait to be invited, you walk through the door. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who's been keeping their head down and waiting to be seen. Sometimes we all just need someone to remind us the door is already there.